What's up, Modern Contractor TV? Teddy here. In this episode, we sit down with Ryan Englin from Core Matters. Ryan is the industry expert when it comes to hiring, training, and retaining your employees for home service contractors. So if you are a contractor and you are having issues with finding and retaining and training talent, employees, you want to listen to this episode. You're going to find out exactly how Ryan can help you and your team find the talent that you need. How do you get yourself out of that day to day? Stop wearing all the hats. He has a process in place that he's going to help you with. We talk about it in this episode. I think you guys are going to get a ton of value out of this. Let's get into it.
You're listening to Modern Contractor TV, the show for home service pros who want to build real business value, scale profits, and create a company that doesn't rely on them day to day. Hosted by entrepreneur, author, and advisor Teddy Slack, a builder of multiple seven-figure service businesses. Each episode brings you real-world strategies to help you grow, systemize, and prepare for a profitable exit. Let's get into it.
Hey, Ryan, how you doing? Welcome to Modern Contractor TV.
I'm fantastic.
Hey, I'm super excited to have you on. This is a very hot topic in home services. We're going to talk all about hiring and retaining and how do you find these guys, right? That's the biggest complaint you hear from a lot of contractors. I just can't find the help, right? So why don't you tell everybody who's listening about, who you are and what you're up to.
Yeah. We can't find help. Everybody's lazy. Everybody's entitled. No one wants to work. I've heard it all.
You've heard it all. Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
So I've been doing this for almost 15 years, been really hyper-focused on the people side of the business for the last decade, and primarily serving ops-heavy companies, but that would be your roofers, your plumbers, your HVAC, where your people are your product. Like we've heard that before. Yep. So as your company grows, you got to put more trucks on the road. That is the sweet spot for us, blue collar all the way. One of my personal goals is to help make the trades cool again. I mean, the trades are cool, but the perception of the trades is like, oh, I don't know if I want that dirty job. And so been doing this for a long time. And when we started out, we were just sourcing. We were just helping people get applications. And because I found out real early on, recruiting's marketing.
Yep.
I don't know if you've heard that, but recruiting is marketing. So we helped them recruit. But then it turned out people didn't know how to interview. They didn't know how to onboard. They didn't know how to engage. They didn't know how to performance manage. They didn't even know how to fire people. Yes. So we've been developing those processes over the last decade, and I love what I do.
Oh, that's awesome. So so you get involved with every aspect of hiring, which it is. I mean, listen, it's a lot of contractors, and I was one of them for the first 15 years. You get in, nobody teaches you this stuff. You kind of learn on the fly and as you're doing it, right? So the whole process of hiring, training, and firing, and then forget about the laws around, God forbid someone's over the age of 40 and you fire them the wrong way. Now that opens you up to all kinds of lawsuits. I learned that just recently. I'm like, wow, I never had anybody like over the age of 40 that I fired and had an issue with, but I had a client that went right into that. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff you have to learn. And I'm sure having a guy like you on the team is you bring all this expertise. And that's what I'd like to dive into today, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I like people to think of us as a partner in your business, not an HR partner, because what we do is not human resources. That's compliance, logistics, reporting, all that. We're an employee experience partner. We're creating amazing experience for your employees. We're helping you deliver on the promise that you made when you hired them and making sure that you keep people long-term.
Yeah, no, that's key for sure. So let's dive into each step. I mean, let's talk about how are you finding these? How are you helping contractors find these people that don't exist apparently, right? They just don't exist, right?
Well, I will tell you what, finding is the wrong thing. Like if your belief is, I just need to spend more money on Indeed, I just need to put more ads out there. You've got to stop thinking about looking for these people and figuring out where they are. And I need you to change your mindset into how do I become attractive to the people that I want to hire? Remember, you're a small contractor. The odds that anybody knows your company name is so minuscule. And yes, you put a lot of marketing effort into customer acquisition, but we put almost no effort into employee acquisition. And so what happens is we've got all these employees going, where should I look? And what do? They go to Indeed because they just know that's where the contractors are at, is on Indeed, and that's where they look. But if you can become what we call the employer of choice, you're the place that people seek out to work. And when they get there, they fight like hell to stay. When you're that employer, all of a sudden people start coming to you. You don't have to go find them. You don't have to go looking for them. People are coming to you and they're going, I'm not looking anywhere else. I just want to work for you.
Yes.
Like
No,
that's a game changer.
100%. You know what? And I actually experienced this and I kind of fell into it. I didn't really know that this was going to happen. But back in 2020, I started creating content around my industry for oil tanks and residential oil tank services, environmental. And I started a YouTube channel really for marketing purposes and really get my name out there. And you know, but what happened was, people found me. I was all over social media, and then people that I was looking for, truck drivers, excavators, operators, they would reach out to me on my socials like, hey, are you guys hiring? You got some cool content here. I was like, whoa, this is working for hiring too. Like, yes, 100% it does work. I mean, I know firsthand that, you know, creating content and it does attract people to you, and it makes you that contractor of choice, 100%.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So let me take a quick minute to let you know about something that's genuinely changing the game for contractors right now. The software is called LiveSwitch. You know how much time we waste by going out and doing free site visits? LiveSwitch lets you send a link to your prospective clients where they could pull up a video that will be recorded. There's laser pointers inside this technology where you could point them to show you where the problem is. It could be a leaking pipe. It could be an electrical issue that's not working. It could be an area of concern in the backyard where you don't know, you're not sure if there's access and you want to see if your equipment's going to fit back there. Well, you no longer have to drive to the property. You just send a link to your client. They pull up their phone and boom, you're able to see live exactly what's going on. You're able to then integrate AI into this. We'll record all the notes. It'll summarize the call. It'll take photos of what you're seeing and document all this so you could not have to drive out to the site. I personally saved thousands of hours by selling clients over the phone before LiveSwitch existed. And I took risk all the time because I didn't know if there was access for my equipment. I didn't, you know, the clients couldn't really explain what was going on. With this technology, I would have saved myself tons of money by just winging it and sending quotes without actually seeing the job. If you guys want to get a free demo of this software, click the link in the description. It'll send you to a scheduling calendar link where you could check this out and see if it's a good fit for your business. So now, how do you help? Let's say we have a small contractor, right? So a lot of our audience, they may have a contracting company. Maybe they're only about $1 million in top line revenue. How do you coach them to become that employer of choice, to get, you know, recognized and known?
Well, the first thing, and you already said this, nobody teaches you how to do this stuff, right? Like you show up, most people that are contractors today grew up in the industry. They were doing the work. Now they own the company and they're figuring out school of hard knocks. No one's ever taught you this. Here's what I will tell you. If you're at that $1 million mark and maybe you just need a project manager or you just need an operations manager to help take some stuff off your plate so you can focus, the most important thing you need to do is realize that as the owner of the company, one of your core responsibilities as the owner is to build, support, and manage your team. And we forget that in the contractor world, we manage jobs. We manage projects.
Yes.
That's what we do. Well, you need to shift your thinking from managing the project to managing your team and let the team manage the projects. When you do that, your world's going to open up. You're going to create margin in your day and you'll be able to focus on the things that really matter, like building the most successful team. Yep. Finding and attracting. And sometimes you do got to go headhunting. Like when I say the word finding, I'm talking headhunting. Like you go out into the world and you go to networking events and you say, who's doing this? Who can I meet that knows this skill set? Yep. That's finding. You're headhunting. You got a target on somebody and you're like, I'm going to go get that person. We don't do that with the field crews. Like you don't do that with the craft worker. Those guys you need to attract. Yes. So if you're in that position, I want you to start thinking about, if one of your primary responsibilities is to build and lead and manage your team, I want you to start thinking about how you spend your week. And if you aren't spending 30% of your time on building the most important part of your business, your team, because without your team, you can't deliver. Yep. You got nothing to sell. You got nothing to deliver. If you don't spend 30% of your time on that, then that's the first thing you need to start thinking is, how do I put my head down and start thinking about the ultimate team? What's my dream team? Who do I really want on my team? What are their behaviors? What are their traits? What are their natural styles? What's their mindset about work? And really start outlining all of that. And then make sure that once you've done that, that you're the company that person would want to work for. Yeah. Because I've seen it so many times. Oh, I want this A player rock star that's going to crush it, going to put up all the numbers, everything else. And then I take a look at the business and I go, you're a mess. That person is never going to want to work for you. Yep. You know, you can't take the most gifted athlete and say, hey, you're going to go play for the minors. Like that would never happen. But a lot of times our business is built because we didn't spend any time on our team and our people and managing that employee experience, that, you know, we're a minor league team and we're looking for all-stars. And we all want the all-stars. Well, then you got to become a team that all-stars want to play for.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, listen, it's not easy to get there, right? Especially if you're small or you're just starting out, you know, it takes time to get to that point to where you are recognized like that. You know, I mean, you know, because I've bootstrapped like a lot of companies in the very beginning. It is very difficult because you're just starting off and you're trying to sell the dream. Like, this is what I'm going to do. This is my goals. And it is hard to attract the right, you know, talent really. So what are some tricks for some guys that are maybe just starting out? Like, hey, we're not there yet. We don't have that, you know, we don't have that look yet or that feel that, you know, that, you know, so how do they do it?
Well, the first thing that I want you to do is stop competing on the things that everybody else is competing on. Okay. Nobody switches jobs for pay. I'm just going to tell you right now, and we can debate that on another show if you want, but nobody switches for more money. Nobody switches for better benefits. Nobody switches for this. People leave jobs because they want new people to work with. That's why people leave.
I read that stat somewhere. It's people leave managers. They don't leave jobs, right? They leave the people that they report to, right?
Yep. Yeah. And all the data that comes out, even the youngest generation, we're all talking about Gen Z now and, how they're just a different generation. We don't understand them. They don't want to work. But they'll tell you pay is not the most important thing. Millennials will tell you it. Gen X will tell you it. I mean, even the boomers will tell you pay is not the most important thing because they're in that last final mile. They're like, I just want to chill. Like I want to be good at what I do and not be pressured to change. So stop competing on the things everybody else is competing on. It's not pay and benefits. It's just not. So start looking internally and saying, hey, what makes us different? What makes our people unique? What makes our team unique? Every company I've ever sat down with leadership team and I said, what makes you unique? And they're like, oh, we pay better or we do that. No, like, let's get really into it. And we get into it. Oh my gosh, there are so many cool things out there that I've learned about these companies. I go, that's what you need to be promoting. You're already doing it. Just get credit for it. And that's where the marketing comes in. So if you've got a marketing team, if you've got a team that's building your website or helping you with social media, that's the stuff you start posting. Start posting about the things where you're giving back to the community. Start posting the things where you're giving back to your employees, where you're investing in your team and you're training and developing them. If you do things with their families, start getting credit for that. You know, we see so many times where they'll throw a company party and when you're small, you just invite all the family because it's just more fun. Well, start posting that. Because there are people with families that are tired of doing company events where they don't get to bring their families. And you'll start connecting with people that think like you, that act like you, but you know, they want the same things you want. And when you get that, all of a sudden you look around and you go, wow, this team's amazing. I trust them with whatever they're doing. And I don't feel like I have to continue to manage them and be like, hey, you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough, because they think like you, they act like you, they behave like you. And that's the important part. So get credit for the things you're already doing is probably the number one thing I would say.
No, it's just like customer experience is super important. Your employee experience is just as important, if not more important. You know, that is your core team. I mean, you have to take care of them. I mean, I was big on this with my last business, and unfortunately the partner I had was very old school. And he, you know, he was the one, that guy, well, these guys just want more money. And it's like, they don't. It's not just about the money. Yes, they want money, but like certain little things that I would do for my employees that he just didn't agree with. For example, we had a single mother who is our main administrative girl in the office. And she, you know, sometimes she would have to go get her kids, and she had 5 children and she was a single mom, and she would have to get her kids. And I would allow them to come to the office. I said, bring them to the office. They, you know, school's local. I said, come here, stash them in the back. We got an office in the back. They could play, they could draw, whatever. And those are the little things that, you know, I'd let her leave for work. I didn't make her clock out. I said, no, she's right down the street. It's taking her 20 minutes. We get the kids. So what? Now she comes back. He's like, she's on the clock. She's stealing from us. I'm like, no, you have to take care of these people. Like, she works so hard for us. Look at how hard she works. I mean, I was so impressed by how hard of a worker she was, and with being a single mom. And I think those things go a long way, you know, and you know, after I sold the business, a lot of that stuff kind of went away. And I've heard, you know, through the grapevine that, you know, a lot of things changed, and it does matter. These type of things matter for sure.
Yeah. You know, I talked about it in my book. When I was in corporate, I had a very similar example with a single mom who had a daughter that she had to drop off at daycare. And she was always 15 minutes late for work when she worked for another manager. She was on another team. And that manager would want to make an example of her, of how big a deal it was to be 15 minutes late. She would just berate her and come down on her, and it would visibly shake. I mean, she was visibly shaken. So finally her performance was so bad, they transferred her to my team. So I sit down with her and I say, and she comes into the office and she says, am I being fired? And I said, well, that's up to you. What's going on? Why is your performance so bad? Because I've been told that you're awful. Like, you're the lowest performer in the entire department out of 100 people, 120 people. And she told me the story. She goes, daughter's daycare doesn't open up until a certain time. I've got a pretty significant commute to get here, blah, 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 blah. Just the whole thing. And he said, all right, well, let's switch your start time to 8:30. And she goes, you can't do that. I said, I just did. So I start her 30 minutes later, made sure she could be there on time. I said, the only thing I ask is that you work 30 minutes later. She goes, that's perfect. But my old boss wouldn't do that. Yep. Within 4 weeks, she was in the top 10% of performers in the entire department. And all I did was make one little shift for her. Now, can I do that for everybody? No, but not everybody has the same circumstances. But when you come to me with the circumstances you have, I will do my absolute best to accommodate that as well.
No, I love that. Yeah. I mean, I listen to Tommy Mello a lot, and I don't know if you're a fan of his, but he talks a lot about it. One, how he finds out for each and every one of his employees what their personal goals are. And he tries to help them get to those personal goals, and he dives deep into them. It's not just about the company and the business goals. It's about what's your goal as an employee, and you want to get a new house, you want to get another car, you want to go on vacation, whatever your goals are. I'm going to help you as your boss to try to get that point, like get there, whatever that goal is, so I think that's huge. I mean, I love this. This is great, man. I mean, this is a lot of contractors don't think this way. A lot of them, again, they're old school and they think, that people just want to take advantage of you and they don't want, but they don't have the right process in place to even train them properly. So these are the type of things that I work with my clients on, is like, you're setting them up for failure. You have to get them the right processes and, to follow so they can be successful, and the right KPIs to track and all that stuff. I mean, all this stuff matters,
Yep. Yeah, we actually have a process called the Growth Accelerator Program. It's a 3-year personal development program. And so we help the companies build out the whole thing. We help them put all the touch points in, the milestones, everything else. And so when an employee comes in and says, hey, I'm ready to go into this Growth Accelerator Program, it's a 3-year journey on helping them achieve their personal goals, whether that's buying a house or getting out of debt or improving their career, like climbing the career ladder so they can make more money. Whatever it is, we got a list of ways we can support them. And we've had clients that have actually partnered with local real estate agents, insurance agents, credit repair agents, and everything else. And they come in, they do these lunch and learns. And when you're in the program, you get to go through this, and they work with you on the credit repair, saving for a down payment, helping you understand what the market looks like and how to buy a home. And then when you graduate the program, this one company they actually gave you a $3,000 gift towards your down payment on a house by going through the program. I mean, who does that?
Yeah, no, that's cool.
It's not normal.
Yeah. And like you said, if you get that word out there and you let other people know, and other people know that that's something that you guys offer, I mean, that is going to set you apart. And those are things that they're so different. One of the other things I did is I gave we had a profit sharing plan where I would sit down on a quarterly basis and I would take care of my employees. If the company was profitable, they would get because I learned from an old school father. I came from family business, and he would do bonuses at Christmas. It was like, that was the thing. So that's what I learned. Like, once a year you get a bonus. And that was like the best time of the year for everybody. Right. So I'm like, well, why can't I do this more often? Right. So if we're super profitable, which we were, when we sold the business, we were at a 43% EBITDA. So we had so much profit. I'm like, we need to give this back to our employees and take care of them. And again, there was another, argument I had with my partner at the time, like, he didn't believe that. I'm like, what are you going to do? Give it to the government? You might as well give it to the employees. You know what I mean? Like,
come on, give a piece to the government.
Exactly.
Not us doing it.
Exactly. But at least let them eat a little better. And, but again, like, we would sit every quarter, I'd sit down, I'd bring them to a restaurant. We would have like a presentation about the business, how we're doing. We would sit in every one of them, have a one-on-one and ask them how they're feeling. And if they give us any feedback and improvement, and they loved it. I mean, the employees loved it. And it's all about that culture that we set. And again, like, after I sold it, things changed. But these things are so important,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it really does matter. I mean, people get out of bed every single day, not to help you achieve their goals, but because they want to achieve their own.
Yes. Yeah. No, 100%. Yes. 100%. So with your consulting firm, so you basically get involved from the very beginning to going out there and, attracting or finding the talent. And then once they're onboarded, to obviously, put these plans in place to keep them and retain them and train them. Like, can you kind of explain a little bit how the whole process works?
Yeah, we have a program called the Core Fit Blueprint, and it's 7-phase program. And it takes some time. I mean, I wish I could say, hey, we're going to fix it in 30 days, but it doesn't work like that. Like this stuff can take years. Sometimes we've got some companies that worked with us for 7, 8, 9 years, just because business keeps evolving. Business keeps changing. New leaders come in. They got to keep adjusting things. But it's really designed to be a 2 to 3 year program. And the first thing we do is every time we sit down with a new company, we want to get the owner margin. We want to get them some white space in their calendar so they can focus on the most important things, their people. Right. When they can do that, then and we've stopped this bleeding. That's what we call it. We call it stop the bleeding, because usually there's fires they're putting out, or they're constantly in triage dealing with issues. Once we've stopped the bleeding, the next thing we do is we start building the foundation for becoming the employer of choice. And this is where you're going to define your culture. You're going to start establishing trust protocols between your leadership team and your rest of your people, so that we start trusting each other. You're going to work on your company reputation. You're going to make sure that your company is growing. I always get debate on this one. If your company is not outpacing growth in your industry, it's going to be really hard for you to attract the best people, because nobody wants to work for a company that's dying.
Yes, no, exactly.
And if you're growing slower than the rest of the industry, guess what? Your company's dying.
Yes.
Because everybody's going to outpace you. So you need to be able to focus on that growth. And so if your industry is doing 15%, you better be doing 20, 25, 30% if you want to attract the best people. So we really focus on building that foundation for employer of choice. And then once that's done, we work on reorganizing the entire company to make sure we have the right people in the right seats. You may have heard of that term before, but so often we have people on the team that are the right people for us, but they're in the wrong seat. They're not doing the things that they're most uniquely qualified to do. And then as we're doing that, we write job descriptions for everybody. Because one of the biggest misses I see is these people think, oh, they know what the job is. Or I had to build this thing to put it on Indeed, and so that's what we're going to use. But it doesn't define how you measure their performance. I love this. I love this line, and I say that sarcastically, which is, oh, my people, if they're doing a bad job, they'll know it. That is not how you performance manage people. So really good job descriptions, really good interview guides, build that for every role in the company. And then we roll it out and we build an onboarding program, a 90-day onboarding program to get people to think like us, work like us, and win like us. And then once that's done, now we start working on all the fun stuff. Like that's just the foundational stuff just to get us going. We put in things like the Growth Accelerator program. We help them build a bench, which is one of our clients' favorite thing, which is a list of people who have already been vetted and qualified that you know would be a good fit for your company, but they're waiting for a position to open. So imagine that you had 30, like if you're on a roofing company, imagine you had 30 crews, foremen and the crews that were just sitting there saying, hey, we'd love to come work for you, but you need more work. Let us know when you're ready.
Wow. Yeah.
And imagine if you had that, what that would mean to your business.
Yeah.
And I've got so many stories of companies that have stuck with it, because that takes time to build. They have stuck with it, and they've called me 2, 3, 4 years later, and they said, Ryan, you won't believe it happened. Wow. I got more people on my bench than I have open positions, and I've already cleaned house, and I've already gotten rid of all the low performers. Like we are an A player team, and I've got more A players waiting on the bench for us to call them up. Yeah. And
that's amazing.
That puts you in a different place as an owner.
Oh, 100%. You
sleep so much better at night.
I think a lot of people don't realize this either. Like talking about A players and you know, if you have that wait list, I mean, you can cycle out the C and D players. I mean, and you need to, and you should, because they're like cancers, right? I mean, I had to fire a cousin who worked for me for 10 years. He was amazing for 10 years, but then he kind of fell off, and unfortunately I had to let him go. But because he was affecting all the other employees, and I didn't want to let him go because he was very good at what he did. But as soon as I let him go, I mean, we just flourished. I mean, the company just took off like crazy because he was impacting the rest of the company. So if you have a list of people that you could just pull up, it's like your analogy before to baseball. It's like you got somebody on the minors and you could pull them up because they're doing so well. I mean, that would be just absolutely crazy to have that opportunity as a business owner for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's so cool. So, I mean, it seems like you're getting involved pretty much with the entire process of the recruiting and the retaining and everything. Now,
the only thing we stay out of is the HR compliance stuff. Don't get me involved in that. Too many details and too many rules. I'm not a rule follower. I don't know if you figured that out yet, but
no, that's cool. I mean,
let HR do their stuff.
Yeah, no, it's that could get deep too with the HR stuff. I mean, it's kind of crazy. As far as what about pay structure? Do you get involved with that and helping with?
So the one thing that we do on pay is we'll help you. We'll help you with the research, what the market is showing, what the competition is. Here's the thing about pay. you've got everybody complains about pay, not because their pay is bad, but because they hate the guy they're working for. And they're like, I don't get paid enough for this.
Yep.
Right? Like that's why. But when you compare your pay to what people are posting on Indeed, you have no idea what they're actually paying people.
Yep.
You have no idea. So if they put 22 to 25 an hour and they're only making offers at 22, but you're like, oh, they're paying up to 25. I guess I better beat that.
Yep.
You might just be buying yourself out of the market.
Yep.
But what we do talk about is that you need to have competitive pay and stability in your organization. Nobody wants to come work for you when you have a slow season and you do layoffs.
Yeah.
Like if you're a contractor right now and you're like, well, that's just a normal part of our job. Projects wrap up or we get to a slow season. We just let people go and then we call them back later. You're never going to attract the best people because the best people want stability.
Yes.
And so you've got to be competitively paying and you have to have stability. And those things go together because if you don't have stability, you're going to have to pay a lot more to get the best people because they're like, hey, I'm only going to work 7 months of the year. I need to still have a full year's worth of pay.
Yeah.
So you're going to pay more for that. But one of the things that we really focus on is normalizing money conversation. Because this is something that most companies struggle with. Nobody likes to talk about money. Everybody freaks out about money. And so we need to normalize money conversations. So, hey, I want to give you a raise and not feel weird. Or, hey, I think I might be paying you too much or whatever.
Yep.
We want to normalize those conversations. And then after that happens, it's usually pretty easy to figure out pay from there.
Yeah. I mean, you just said something that kind of, I'd like to find out what your take is on this. So I just had a client who's been in business for 45 years. A lot of their employees have been with them for 20 plus years and they get their typical raise every year, but now they're kind of priced out of the market. They're overpaying for some of these positions, but they've been with the company for so long. In that situation, I mean, you talk about having a hard conversation. What's your take on that? I mean, how do you handle a situation like that where somebody is now being overcompensated for what they bring to the table?
Just because they've been there so long and you just keep giving them little incremental raises. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I don't run into that as much as the other side of it, which is we don't pay our people enough. And now in order for me to attract new people, I have to pay more.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it's like I'm bringing in a new guy at 29, but I'm only paying 25 to my current guys. Yep. Like that pay compression, we deal with that one a lot. But this is interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, you were comfortable giving that guy a raise, right?
Yep.
And the only reason it's a problem is because now you realize you can go get someone with just as much skill set or more for less. So it's almost like ignorance was bliss.
Yep.
Like if you were comfortable paying that guy, just be comfortable paying that guy. Now, if you're not getting enough value out of him, he's not performing. If there's performance issues, that's a different conversation. Yep. But if you're happy with his performance, you're just like, gosh, I feel like I'm paying him an extra $4 an hour more than I should. Well, that was your decision to make. Just be comfortable. Just own it. Be good in the decision. I don't think that you need to worry about that one as much. The pay compression one is a lot harder, where you need to pay more to get a new guy in than you're paying your existing team.
Which I've absolutely faced that. I've had really good guys come to me and they want to, jump ship and come on board. And what they were asking for, I was like, man, if I give you that, like, I'm going to be really up shit's creek because these guys all talk, you know what I mean? Like they start, they're, oh, you're a foreman, I'm a foreman. What are you getting paid? You know what I mean? As soon as they get hired. So that's absolutely something you got to be prepared for because you don't want to be caught with like having that conversation. Like, well, why is he getting paid more than me? I've been here for 3 years. That becomes, a real tough situation, right?
Yeah, it is because you can't. Well, I mean, I guess you could, depending on how profitable are. You could have done it in your company because you had the amazing EBITDA, but most companies can't just say, okay, I'm going to raise everybody across the board and still stay profitable.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I say, the reason we want to normalize money conversations is because I want you to be having those conversations as frequently as possible, every 6 months, every 12 months, because then you don't get far behind.
Yep.
Like if you would have made the 50-cent incremental adjustments every year over the last 4 years, you'd be paying everybody $2 more an hour and you'd be comfortable with it.
Yep.
And then now you're not priced way out of the market.
Yeah. And is that what you typically recommend? Is it every 6 months to sit with the employees and kind of go through their pay and kind of talk about, like
6 months is aggressive.
Yeah.
We've had a client that we work with. They actually purchased like a subscription to this pay consulting group that they could upload job descriptions and say, what's the pay now? And they were always normalizing pay every 6 months. And they would just do it. They wouldn't even talk to them. They'd just be like, hey, just want to let you know your position's worth 30% more. So here's a giant raise. Wow. Not everybody has those kind of margins to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I think that you should at least once a year be having a pay conversation. Don't tie pay increases to their annual reviews. I hate that because I want people to go into a review not expecting more money. But I think that when it comes to paying people what they're worth, I mean, you got to look at, are they performing or not?
Yeah.
And if they're not performing, then I think they're not worth the extra money. If they are performing and they're top, one of the top performers, then reward them for that.
Yeah.
100%. Make it worthwhile for them.
Yeah. This ties into, being able to track their performance and what constitutes good performance versus bad performance. It's not just like, hey, we haven't really looked at this guy all year. We're going to sit down with him and just decide, if he's doing good or not. If you could tie his performance to some sort of KPI, right, that you could tie his, and then you could say, all right, yeah, you're meeting or exceeding it, or you're not, right?
Well, and so often, especially when we get to the craft worker, the field guys, we struggle with how we measure their performance.
Yes. Yeah, it's hard.
We really struggle with it. And it's really not as hard as everybody makes it out to be. Like some organizations, it's pretty easy if you actually break down how you bid the job.
Yep.
Just look at how you bid the job, back into what your labor costs were and say, okay, am I making enough money on my labor cost to pay this guy versus that? And is he making me money? Or is he costing me money?
Yeah.
But a lot of times when you get to the field, things like attendance are huge.
Yes.
Customer satisfaction is huge. Employee morale is huge. Like have your employees do a employee satisfaction survey, and they'll often tell you who the guy is they don't like.
Yes.
I mean, so there are lots of ways to measure performance that may not directly be tied to their work, but directly influence how well they perform.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. I mean, this is all, it ties back into the, employee morale as well. Like, what are your thoughts around reviews, getting company reviews and not just like reviews on the employer, but putting a compensation in place or some kind of bonus structure in place to go get reviews for the company and maybe tying that into some kind of performance. You talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any issues with that. The idea that we have to ask for good reviews is, I mean, it's a real thing. I don't care what Yelp says.
Yep.
The only people that are going to review you without you asking them for a review are the people that are mad at you.
Yes, if you piss them off, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the only, or the people that you cut off and then they decide to give you a review and you're like, you're not even a customer.
Yes, right? Yeah, that happens too. Yeah.
So I think you have to ask for reviews, and I think it's important because especially when you think about the craft worker or the technician, that's not what they do. They fix stuff. They diagnose and they fix. That's what they do. And so to come out to them and say, hey, now I need you to have a conversation with a customer to get reviews, you kind of have to motivate them a little bit more than just saying it's part of your job.
Yep.
So I think it's cool. I don't know that you reward them only for 5-star reviews, because let's say that they start getting reviews, you reward them for the reviews, and then you find out they're all 2-star reviews. Well, now you get to have a performance management conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But I'm not a big fan of you only get the payment if you get the 5-star.
Okay.
Because then, and I've seen guys do this where they're like, here's $10 if you leave it 5 stars.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden, like they're buying their great reviews. You don't want that.
No,
So
definitely not.
Reward them for the behavior that you're looking for. If the behavior is get reviews, reward them for that.
Yeah.
Same thing we talk about in employee referrals. Reward them. If you're going to ask for employee referrals, reward them for the behavior, which is the referral.
Yep.
Don't reward them because the guy's still there in 90 days. That's not his job. That's your job.
Yes.
If you hired the wrong guy and you chose not to fire him or keep him, that's not this guy's responsibility. That's yours.
Yeah. So I like that. So what you're saying is, let me kind of see if this is correct. But basically, if you have an employee that refers another potential person to become an employee, they would get paid for that. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I'm not a big
not
fan
not waiting a certain amount of time. Like, because I know some people say, oh, after they're there for 90 days or 180 days, then they get the pay.
Well, let me ask you this. Is the person that's referring their friend in, I mean, are they responsible for retaining that employee?
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Not at all. No. They never are. It's not their job. Yet we only reward them when we do our job. That's what we're saying. If I do a good job, Teddy, then and I keep the guy for 90 days, then I'll pay you. And it's like, wait a minute. Like, you've put all the risk on me. Yep. I'm the one that has to go ask my buddy. I'm the one that has to potentially sacrifice a friendship if it doesn't work out. He's the one that had to go to his wife and say, hey, I'm quitting my job to go work somewhere else. Like, everybody else is taking the risk except for you, Mr. Employer.
Yep.
Like, no, stop it. Stop it. You want them to refer. It's called an employee referral program, not an employee retention program. Pay them for the referral.
Yep. Once you hire them, yep.
I'm not a big fan of paying cash. I think that rewards can come in so many different ways. I saw a study one time that said only about 6% of employees are incentivized by a cash reward for a referral. Only 6%. Wow. So how do you incentivize crazy. The rest of the guys? We got a company running a promotion right now. It's a drawing that they're doing for 90 days. Everybody that refers, whether we hire them or not, gets their name in the drawing.
Nice.
And at the end of the drawing, it's a chartered fishing cruise in the Gulf. It's a pellet grill, and it's a whole like Yeti cooler stock, barbecue thing. And you get to pick one. Like when you win, you get to pick your prize. And so the idea that can motivate people, because they're like, yeah, my wife won't let me get a pellet grill, but if I can win one,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Or chartering a fishing boat, like who's going to let? Most people don't do that on their own. Like they go when they get invited, but to win one, how cool is that?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, that's, again, thinking outside the box, just doing something that's different. It's not just money. When I hear those stats about the money, because you hear it a lot too, like you said, I mean, people don't just leave jobs because it's more money. And a lot of people think that's what it is. Oh, I got to pay more money, and they're just money motivated. It's not the case. It is not. And you hear these stats and it's like, it is kind of mind blowing because people are not always motivated by money, and coming up with these ideas is cool. It's outside the box thinking. That's awesome. I mean, here's one for you. Let's say you have a guy, a contractor, right? He's at that between $1 to $3 million mark, where they call it the black hole, whatever. You get stuck in there and you're wearing 10 hats. They come to you now and they say, hey, I need help, recruiting. Who do you recommend that they hire first? Like, is that something you get involved with? And you look at their business, you say, all right, you're running sales, you're doing operations, you're doing the finance. What is your recommendation? Who do they hire first? What's the best hire for them?
So we have a process. We call it the hats worksheet. And we have them list every single thing that they're doing. I want it all, every single thing that they're doing.
Yep.
And then we help them bucket into one of three categories. Is this a design thing that you're doing? So in other words, are you executive leadership, designing the company, designing processes? Are you a designer? Are you a delegator, which means you're managing other people and you're giving them work to do? Or are you a doer, doing payroll, managing your insurance, doing AP and AR? You're a doer, right? Or if you're out in the field, you're a doer. So we categorize that. And then we go the next step and we say, okay, I want you to go down the list and tell me, does it energize you or drain you?
Yep.
And here's what I want to do. Remember, I talked about creating margin. The fastest way to create margin isn't to just give another hat away or just give a bunch of stuff away. It's to get rid of the things that drain you.
Yep.
Because when you're doing something that drains your energy, you become that much less effective in doing the things that you enjoy doing.
Yep.
And so if we can just keep you focused on the things you enjoy doing and give all the rest of the stuff, you'll be a lot more productive. You'll have more margin. You'll think clearer because you're not drained by the things you don't like doing. So when we've put that together, that's the first thing we want to get rid of. And then once we're done with that, now we start saying, okay, what hats can we get rid of? You're wearing 10, you should be wearing 2. So what are the 8 you can get rid of in what order? And what's so funny is so many people find that their hats aren't full-time jobs.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And I'm like, so go hire a part-time person.
Yes.
It doesn't click for them.
No, it's funny too. And it's like, and it doesn't have to be a part-time person it doesn't have to be in person. It can be virtual. And like a lot of these clients I speak to, I'm like, they're like, wait, what? This employee is not going to come to my office? I'm like, yes, it's 2025.
What's interesting though, is that's where I see contractors being very slow to adopt.
Yes.
There are certain roles that don't need it. And I heard this just a couple months ago. Someone said, when my field crews can work from their home, then so can my office staff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get it. I don't disagree with that statement, but it's 2025.
Yes.
Virtual work is a real thing. It's possible.
And that's the thing. So a lot of people, a lot of the clients I speak to, they think like, okay, this employee is going to be sitting at home and like doing, no. Like, I'm not talking about hiring an actual remote employee that's like full-time. Like the way I structured my last business is I had virtual assistants that were like snipers. They only did one task and that's it. And I wasn't the only person they worked for. They might work for 40 other people, but for an hour a day, they did one thing for me, whether that was AR, AP, whether that was going online, posting on social, whatever it was, That's it.
And then when you get to a point where it's too much, hire an assistant in your office to manage all those VAs for you.
Yes, exactly. 100%.
But they just don't think this way. Like they're so stuck in their ways. Yeah. Yes, I'm talking to you, listener. Like you got to think outside the box. I don't pull punches, Teddy. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, but you got to tell how it is, because listen, I mean, this is one of the reasons why I was at 43% EBITDA. Everyone's like, I had the amount of employees I had full time compared to my competitors who were half my revenue. It was double. They had double the amount of employees I had, and they were doing half the revenue, but they couldn't figure it out. I'm like, well, I have about 25 VAs that I manage that do marketing, finance, a little bit of everything, and people don't understand it. When I try to teach them now, my consulting side, I try to tell people how to do this and structure it. They still can't grasp it. They're like, this is too much to manage. There's so many people. Yeah.
Well, that's where, and this is the other thing that we do a lot of. This is where you define your processes. Yes. When you got a VA, you got to have the process down. 100%. You got to have the checklist down. Yep. You got to let them into your head and be like, this is what I think done looks like.
Yes.
You got to give them examples. You have to train them on how you think and how you work. And when you do that, most VAs I know, I'm like, they'll crush it.
They're amazing. They're amazing. If you give them a step-by-step process, and that's exactly what I would do. If you think you're just going to go online, and I get this from contractors too. Well, I went on Upwork. I tried to find somebody, and I told them to do it, but it's not getting done right. I'm like, okay, well, did you actually give them a process? Like, you have to build the process out. In my opinion, I look at them like robots. If you could give them the step-by-step task, they will literally, like a robot, follow it to the T every single day. But if it's something that's kind of just like up in the air, it's like sometimes you do it this way, sometimes it can be done that way. You can interpret it any way you want. They're not the right person for that, in my opinion. It has to be a SOP, like you said. And the way I did it was all video screen recordings. I would screen record the process and say, follow this, click this button, do this, and then I'd hand it off. And then it was done, and it'd be perfect every time.
Yeah. Yeah. But we got to take the time to do that. And that's the other thing I run into is like, well, I don't know how to do it.
Yep.
I just do it.
Yes.
And then I'm like, well, here's a little trick. Yeah. Here's a little trick. Set up your phone. Yep. And point at your computer and just talk out loud, like think out loud. That's all you do.
Yes. Yeah.
They'll figure that out from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Now this is cool because we could touch on this. We talked about this a little bit before recording, but the AI, let's talk about recruiting in a post AI world. Talk about, are you using any AI tools to help recruit, or is it, what are you seeing in the AI world with recruiting?
Yeah. AI is a tricky one because what I tell you today will be different tomorrow.
Yes, so fast.
But one of the things that we're using is, so we have an applicant tracking system that we recommend for all of our clients to help them manage the recruiting pipeline. And they've incorporated some AI tools in there that I really like. One is reading the job description and comparing it to the resume and then grading the candidate.
Yep.
And it's getting better. Like it's getting pretty 100%, accurate.
Yeah.
And so we like that one. The one thing you have to remember about AI when it comes to recruiting is remember how AI was trained. AI was trained on billions of data points across decades of the internet, right?
Yep.
Well, I also know that most people copy what other people are doing. And so when you look at those billions of data points and you look at the fact that ChatGPT knows how to write the perfect job ad so that you can post on Indeed. All it did was scrape Indeed and grab all the garbage that everybody's copied from everybody else. Yep. And so it's been trained on a way that doesn't work anymore. So be careful with AI, because when you go in and you say, I need a job ad for, a roofer, all of a sudden it's going to spit out a job ad because it looked at 700 other job ads for roofers that all look the same, that don't work, and get everybody competing on price.
Yep.
So it's really hard to get AI to think differently unless you train it to think differently. And that's something that we're working on right now. We're learning how to train AI to help us. It's still not there. Like even the work we're doing, it helps us with research. It helps us with the data analysis. But even then, you still got to double check it.
Yes. 100%.
So I would tell people, if you're thinking about AI or you're looking at it, just know that you're going to need smarter people to help you manage the AI than you're probably used to hiring. And the reality is people don't want to interact with AI. I know there's a lot of talk, people don't want to deal with people. No, people still want to deal with people.
Yeah. It's not there yet. The AI is definitely not. I mean, I think it's close. It's probably months away, or maybe years, maybe a short amount of years. But I think it is very close. There's a lot of these apps out now, or even you can answer the phone. You're talking to an AI, but you can still tell it's an AI. And people don't want to speak to an AI. They do not. I'm sorry. It's like if I get an answering service and it's like press 1 for this, I'm automatically now I'm angry. I'm like, get me a person, get me a human. And I feel like it's the same thing once. But I think eventually it probably will get to the point where you really won't be able to tell if it's a human or if it's an AI, and we're not far off from that. It's scary how fast it's going.
Yeah, it'll probably happen in my lifetime where all of a sudden I won't know if it's a human or not.
Yeah.
But I've seen some of the like even some of the dial by directories that I'm seeing now with contractors is they're a little bit more AI-ish.
Yes. Yeah.
And they break all the time.
Yep.
So I get it.
You can't fully rely on them. No.
Yeah,
no, absolutely not. Well, why don't you give us an example of a contractor that specifically, if you could think off the top of your mind, let's say, what was their biggest pain point when they came to you, and then how did you get involved with them and start working with them, and how did it wind up turning out?
Yeah, one of the success stories I really like to talk about is a remodeling contractor out of Kansas City. They worked with us a few years ago, and when they came to us, they couldn't find carpenters. And I will say that carpenters are one of the hardest professions that I've seen because there's just this lack of desire to train new carpenters. Everybody wants the new guy or the seasoned guy. Nobody wants to hire the new guy and train him. They don't want to take the time for that.
Of course.
And there's not carpentry schools. No one's doing apprenticeship programs. Like some of the trades, if we aren't careful and we don't own saying, hey, we're going to be a part of the solution and training the next generation, and we're going to take the time and invest in that, then the industry's in trouble. Yeah, because they're not doing that. So anyways, remodeling contractor, they could not find carpenters. They needed like 7 just to stay on top of the jobs that they were bringing in, like 7 full-time carpenters. And I mean, even the time we worked together, I don't think we helped them hire 7 full-time carpenters.
Wow.
But what ended up happening was, number one, they stopped losing carpenters because we built the processes, the systems, communication, everything else. So retention went way up, which helped a lot.
Yeah.
And then they did start thinking, okay, maybe I can't take someone completely green, but maybe I'll take someone that's been doing it for a year. Maybe they do rough work and I can teach them some of the finer details. Right. Yeah. And so they started thinking that way. And then we ended working with them. And a couple of years later, they called me and they said, it happened. And I said, what happened? They said, we now have more people waiting to join our team than we have positions for them. And I mean, I already shared a little bit about that, but that was the thing. They couldn't find them. They couldn't attract them. They didn't want to work with the newbies. And we put these processes in place to really help streamline that. And they just stuck with it. And over years now, amazing team. They're growing fast. We had a commercial, another one I just thought of, a commercial roofing contractor, about 60 employees when we started working with them. A year after we finished with them, I talked to the owner. He was actually on the podcast. He said they're up to 180 employees.
Wow.
3x in a year.
Yeah, that's huge.
But they knew they had the tools. They knew they had the processes. They knew how to communicate and onboard. And they weren't losing them on the back end. That's the problem in most of the industry right now. We do not have a labor shortage in the industry. We have a crisis because we don't know how to keep people.
Yeah.
And we're constantly chasing to fill old positions. And that's the problem that we're set out to help you focus on. Because if you are putting all your effort into hiring people because you need more people, but you're constantly just dumping people out the back door, it's
hard to keep up. You can't. Yeah,
that's called insanity. That's what that is.
Well, exactly. If you don't have the right training and retention in place, I mean, it's absolutely insane to try to bring new people in constantly like that. I mean, obviously, if you're growing like crazy, you're going to have some of that, churn, but. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I think you're a very valuable asset to have on a team. Like you said, you come in as almost a partner, which is nice. And you help put all these systems in place, around this. So it's really cool, man. This has been a really, really great conversation. And I think we brought a lot of value today to the audience and anybody in home services. If they're interested in contacting you, Ryan, what is the best way to get in contact with you to learn a little bit more about Core Matters?
Yeah, if you want to get a hold of me, the best way is going to be on LinkedIn. Connect with me, DM me. If there's anything to do to support you, I'd love to help and do that. If you want to learn more about what we do over at Core Matters and the CoreFit Blueprint, the program I was telling you about, because you're really tired of dealing with all of these issues, you can go to corematters.com And you can learn all about our process. You can check out some of our case stories. You can see what other results look like for other contractors. And then anybody that might be interested in reading a copy of my book, they can go to corematters.com/free book and help me out with shipping and handling. And I'll autograph a copy and mail you out a copy of my book. And you can learn a lot more about our philosophy and some of the tools and strategies that are in there.
No, that's awesome, man. You have a podcast as well, right?
I do. Titans of the Trades. Yeah. Okay. Anywhere you can find podcasts. And we're interviewing not only subject matter experts in the trades, people that have been there, people that have done it. But one of the things I see we struggle with in the industry is that a lot of guys have lost hope. It's a real challenge for them. They're like, why am I doing this? It's all I know. This sucks. And they don't see the results or the goals that they want. I mean, that was kind of my dad's story as well. Like he always wanted more and he just could never get there. And so a lot of the people that I interview are people that have been there and done it. And it's just to share these stories of hope and say, hey, it's possible. Yeah. And we're just like you did, like, what's one thing we can do? Like we're always looking like, what's the action we can take? Absolutely. And so, we've been running that for a couple of years. And we're actually going to be doing I'm going to do some solo episodes as well, talk about deeper dive into some of the things that we've learned and really just help out the industry as much as I can.
Oh, that's awesome, guys. Go check it out. Ryan, I appreciate it. I really do. It was enjoyable. And I look forward to staying in contact with you, man.
Oh, I had a great time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.